I was sweating, scrambling, and regretting my gear choices all before I hit record. But this mess of a shoot taught me everything I needed to know to level up. Let's talk about it. So, on my first ever two-person interview, two-camera interview, two-camera op, is there a fancy way to say this? I feel like there is. I feel like there's a very sophisticated way to say that I went on a two-camera person interview, but this was my first, okay? This was my first. And of course, with this being my first time, I was super excited. I did go above and beyond with the gear that I brought, but we'll talk about that later here in a second. But still, went above and beyond. Packed a lot of gear in my sports car. It's a sports sedan. It's not a sports car. Let me make that clear. I'm not riding around in a two-door, but I packed a lot of gear for a location I have not seen. I have not done any pre-visit, pre-viz, pre-production, anything like that. I haven't scouted out the location. This is the location we're choosing to film in. I'm going in there completely blind with a ton of gear, 3 hours away from my home. So, yeah, it was a time. A time was had. A time was had in Memphis, Tennessee. Okay, so this location is sight unseen. It's 3 hours away from my home, and I'm lugging a bunch of gear. But not only am I lugging a bunch of gear to this shoot, I also had the great idea to bring gear I have never set up before, and also gear that takes me a long time to set up. Takes me a good minute. It takes me a good minute. This is why on sets it makes sense. I mean, I'm learning obviously, but still, like it really is like common sense after you learn. Like, I get why you have, production assistant, first AC, second ACs, all these different departments helping you rig stuff to be more efficient and be quicker. So you can bring these big cameras, these big rigs, all these lights, because you're not going to be the only one that's setting up. You can do it by yourself, but you're going to have to need time. And that's not what I had, even though I assumed that's what I would have, would be time to set this up and also break it down, tweak it and things like this. Like today, setting this stuff up, because in my living room, I've been tweaking, trying to change different ways I want to do this. I'm sorry, was that the AC that just got on? So when I was setting up in here and tweaking and putting things together and stuff like that, it took me 2 hours. It took me 2 hours. I hope each time I set up in here, I'm going to be quicker and efficient because I know what to do. But 2 hours. 2 hours to set up this talking head setup here. And so same can be said, because here in my living room, setting up this setup for like 2 hours was a lot of me tweaking things, playing with the lighting, seeing my false colors and seeing if, even though my skin was exposed like I want it to be, or my face was exposed, lighting for faces and not spaces, I still had a look I was going for. So I was really dialing that in, really like just playing around with it, however long it took to get it. I had this little like really close like makeshift negative fill beside me. Like I was just really playing around. And when I want to go to shoots like this, even though sight unseen, 3 hours away from my home, don't know what I'm going to get myself into, I still want time to play with the composition, with the shot, to get the best image possible. And I didn't have that. But like I said, this is my first time. I didn't know these were the issues I was going to run into. And so when I got there, there was a meeting that was being held in the space that we were supposed to shoot in, which was the library. So I couldn't go in there and set up early like I planned, because I got there like 30 minutes earlier than my scheduled time anyway. I just wanted plenty of time. But yeah, there was a meeting that no one knew about that was happening in the library, and so I couldn't set up, and then it went over. So then there was that. So then once I got into the library, the library was something else. I want to say this because I want to be super respectful, and let it be known and noted that I'm not throwing any shade whatsoever when I say this. But this library, I don't know. I have no words, because it was just, There was like a random box that had been there apparently like the whole year that hadn't been opened, or has been opened, but like I guess hasn't been sent back. It was, that's what I'm saying. It's really hard to talk about it because it's like you don't want to make anybody feel bad or say anything really negative. So I'm going to find that happy balance when I'm just saying that it just felt like, how you kind of let your house go, because you've been busy. There's a lot of stuff going on. You're really stressed out, and you're going to get to it later, and things just pile up. And that's what this library looked like. It just looked like a lot of stuff had piled up and they were getting around to it, but just other things took their time away from getting to it, and they were going to get to it later. So it was just a lot of me trying to get the random box out of the shot, move the couch forward, move the couch back, do this, find a corner. Also, the library is a circle. It's not a square. So can't find a corner. It's just a bunch of circles, which is, I've been to like now with this company, this nonprofit that I've been working with. I didn't realize how many circular pod schools were around Tennessee. So there's that. But yeah, it's hard to shoot in a circle versus a square. So yeah, can't find my corners, hard to find composition. And also on top of that too, I got in there late. So it was just, oh my gosh. Like the more I talk about it, the more I get stressed out. I get anxiety thinking about this, even though this happened like in November. No, not even November. I think maybe it was early November, late October, something like that of 2024. So it's just like, but it still gives me anxiety because it was just so much going on. We get there late. Well, we didn't get there late. We get there and we're not able to set up. We're like 30 minutes, 40 minutes behind on setup time. We get into the space. The space is a circle, so it's hard to find a corner for leading lines or any area for composition because there's still teachers in there talking and hanging out and helping each other. Like, there's just a lot going on. And on top of that, too, there's a lot of stuff in the space. So it's also in the shot. And so once I just was like, this corner is going to be the best, or cylindrical area is going to be the best that we can do. I then had to set up my lighting and my camera. Oh, that's when I decided to bring my F-22. It hurts me. But hey, this is a learning experience. That's why I want to talk to you today, what I learned and how I'm going to get better at this. But like, this is so dumb. This is really dumb. This is I took a serious L. I've taken a couple L's, and it's okay. Because as long as you learn from the L's, it's okay to take the L's. But I took an L, big L. I, of course, was watching a YouTube video by the Mark Bohm, and I saw where he set up, it was a nan light, kind of like a Pavo Slim, I think, something like that. And he shot it through another piece of diffusion. So, of course, I'm in the comment section. I'm in the bio, tapping on the links, buying all the gear and stuff like that. I'm going to use it on the shoot. It's going to look great. And maybe I've said this in a previous video. Maybe I haven't. But this is what I've learned in my experience is that you can't just take what someone has done in their video and their tutorials and apply it to whatever it is that you're doing. You have to have the tools, know how to use them, and just plan accordingly. Like here in this space, it's typed. I just know that I needed a negative fill. I know that I need ambient lighting. I know I need some key. I needed, my key. I needed, my practicals. How can I achieve this with 3 tools? This lighting setup looks nothing like what Mark had in his video. This lighting setup that I have here in this room is what works for me. And so I've learned that the hard way in this shot, in this shoot that I did in Memphis. But like now I approach that with all video work that I do now. It's just, these are the tools. How can I get that look? And if I have the opportunity to go ahead and look at the space before I even get there, this is what I'm going to do. But mostly, especially with corporate interviews, 2-camera interviews, you don't necessarily get to pick the location. You get to just, choose a location that's already there at their business, at their location, and just work with it and find the corner and just light accordingly with like the 3 pieces of gear that you have, the lighting kit that I have. And so when I came down there and had the audacity, the unmitigated gall to take out of F22X, not C, because apparently this one's harder to set up than the F22X, but I think now, or C, now I think it is the same way. They got the little springs. It's stupid. It's not even simple, so whatever. So, of course, it takes forever to set that up, and then try to rig the light diffusion that I saw, trying to copy it verbatim, in front of the light to diffuse it even more, because it's not even about why am I doing it. I just saw someone else do it, so I should do it too. Dumb stuff. Amateur hour. It's fine. I learned. Okay. And so I'm trying to figure that out, set that up, and then I'm like, oh crap, I gotta set up the cameras as well. And I brought my FX6. And if you have an FX6, or you know about the FX6, or you've seen the FX6, the FX6 is a great camera. It's a phenomenal camera. It's so amazing. I love it. But, big but, it is putting that sucker together, the top handle, and also too, I'm like not at the time super familiar. I don't use it that much, so I'm not comfortable not using the top camera and plugging in audio. I don't even think that's possible. I don't know. And so I was like, I only know how to use the top handle with this camera. So I have to set up, it's already broken down. So I got to put the handle on, I got to put top handle on, and I had like a broken fingers. Everything went wrong that day. The more I sit here and rehash this, everything went wrong that day. And so had to set that up. Of course, my FX3 was a breeze. Set that up, but of course, we can't forget tripods. I love small rig. I have a lot of small rig gear. I will choose this AZ Blazer over another one they have because it's just a pain to stick that plate. Like this one, you can just slide the plate in there. The other one, you gotta pop it at an angle or make sure you didn't put it backwards. And like I'm on edge right now, and I'm just on edge right now trying to get this stuff together. Because as maybe you don't know, I don't think I brought it up or said it just now, but like as I'm putting all this together, freaking out and panicking, everybody decides to come at once. All the teachers that weren't there on time, that were nowhere to be found. It's fine. I needed that time because everything was behind, like I said, they had the meeting. No one knew about the meeting. So it's fine. It's fine. But they all came at once. And not only did they all come at once, they all were just like, are you ready? Because we're ready to go home. It's been a long day. It's been a very long day. We're almost to the end of this semester, I guess. They're in middle school, so does it count? Yeah, sure. We're at the end of the semester. I want to go home. I want to go to bed. Let's get this. Let's wrap this up. Super sweet, though. Don't get me wrong. Like, they were great interviewees, but, like, they were... And some were even more like, no, it's fine. Take your time. And others like, baby, I got to go home. Today's been a day. And I respect that. I understand that. I understand it, especially if you get in traffic. I get it. So I'm not even mad about it. It was just like all these eyes on me at once, waiting for me to get ready, to get this work done, because they were ready to go home. So, yeah, there's a lot of pressure. And it wasn't making diamonds either. So yeah, I was sweating, and I have to admit that I finally gave up, and was like, we're just gonna work with what we have. And of course, the first shot was a guy that was a teacher that was super tall. So I had to finagle my what is it called, my tripod to get him in frame. And then because throughout all this stuff trying to set it up, I forgot to set up my boom mic, like in a hand. So I'm thinking, I can just boom operate it. There's no, I have so much respect for boom operators, okay, boom mic operators, because my shoulders were giving out. And of course, because they were giving out, I would lean a little bit. And that the wire, since it was so far away, would pull on the boom mic, and you would hear it in the audio. And it's just, I had a safety, I believe I had a safety track for that. But it's just like, if he said anything good while I was trying to readjust myself, there goes that audio, even if I didn't have a safety track or a lapel, attached to him. It was a lot. So yeah. And then of course, right after that, we get the shortest teacher you could possibly find. So now I have to drop my camera all the way down and readjust. And everybody wants to go home. And then after that, getting that together, the custodians were like, we're shutting the school down in like the next 10 minutes. So if you ain't out, the alarm's going to go off. Deal with whatever happens when the cops come and stuff. I was like, well, I'm not gonna lie, that was not kind. That was not friendly. I think I'm trying my best. You want to help me back the stuff up? So yeah, a time was had in Memphis, Tennessee, but a lot of lessons were learned. So let's talk about those lessons because they were so good and so on time. I needed it. I really needed it. Lesson 1: less is better. As I grow as a cinematographer, I am learning, specifically with this type of project, these half-day rates and these half-day shoots and going to locations that are sight unseen. There's no pre-production involved. Just, I have no idea what I'm working with. Less is better. It's really all about your skills, your knowledge, your expertise to be able to make this image look the best that it can in the amount of time that you were given in a space that you did not choose. And that is what's so important. I think me 6 years ago, shooting this, it wouldn't look like it does now. Well, granted, you'll see in the next video that I'll post, like how I was able to just bring the bare minimum and still make that look really good. Because I don't know what I was getting myself into. All these are sight unseen locations. I get there and I figure it out as I'm there and just make it work. And so, yeah, it's really just about, your skills, your knowledge. That's so important, and just being able to make it work and look the best that it can. And I know 6 years ago, I wouldn't have been able to make it look like that or even see or have the vision, to make a video look professional, not cinematic, but just professional. In a sight unseen location with just literally one light. Because typically the locations that I've been, which I'll talk about in these other videos, I can't even throw up a second light. There's no way to rig it or anything like that. These are sight unseen locations. I only have 4 hours, if that. So it's just like, like just setting this up. I think I've said it before. It took 2 hours. So I don't have 2 hours to play with interviewing. They're trying to get them in. They're trying to get them out. And so, it's a half-day rate. It's a small lighting kit, sight unseen, so it's understandable. And that's something that I learned too, is just like, they're not paying you for all that. We want something nimble. We want something quick. We want something that we can just get in and get out. And that's actually lesson 2, which is being flexible and adaptive. Coming in there with a negative fill, a key light, I don't have a hair light, a bunch of practicals and things like that in a location that you have never seen is not being flexible or adaptive. But just bringing in your key, bringing in your extension cord, bringing in your 2 cameras that you can set up super quick, like my FX3 and my FX30 and not my FX6, is how you're able to, like, okay, I got like 30 minutes to set up. Like that one light. And I do bring it just in case, trying to bring like a hair light or anything like that. But typically the spaces that we've been in, they've just been too tight, so I can't do it. But still, I have that option. And so I bring it, but I bring everything that I know I can set up in 30 minutes and I can break down in 30 minutes. So then we can just get all these interviews. Because there was one time, I think we interviewed like 17 people, 15 people, something like it was a lot of people. But I wasn't fooling around trying to get all my stuff set up, because I was nimble, I was adaptive, I was flexible. Because I learned from this shoot that spending time trying to set up elaborate, lighting equipment in a space you did not see before. There was no pre-production. There was no lighting diagrams that you set up to see like how it would work. And then, you even had some time too, like 2 hours, to just play around with it, get your subject in frame and, mess with the white balance, mess with the ND filters, things like that. You didn't have time to do that. So you just got to be quick. You got to be flexible. You got to adaptive, and we got to get in. We got to get out. You only got 4 hours, and that's what you're getting paid for. And it works, right? So yeah, that's the second lesson I learned. Sorry, I thought I had more lessons than that, but that was really it. That was just 2 lessons just rolled to one. My bad. Yeah, I thought it was way deeper than that. It really was, but it's not. So, I hope that you found this video helpful, insightful, and let you know that we're all entrepreneurs out here, business owners making mistakes, and it's all about just learning from them, pivoting, and doing better. Doing better. I will say I don't think no one said they were upset with what I filmed. So there's that. I was hired to go out the next week to Dixon, which is the next video that I'm going to post. So yeah, I will say it didn't wreck my career. I don't even know if they noticed that it was that bad, but it wasn't up to my standards. And I did reach out to the individual who hired me for the job and was like, it's just not at my standards. It could be better, and on the next shoot, it will be better. And guess what, baby? It was better. And so, learned, took notes, improved, because hey, I'm here for the journey. So, like and subscribe, share with a friend, because sharing is caring. And also, there's more videos like this to come with more behind the scenes and even telling you the gear I used. I would have told you the gear I used for this video, but I'm not showing the final product. I'm not showing it. You get by behind the scenes. That's all you get. And there's no need to show you the gear, because the gear was a lot to put up and set and break down. And no, you're not getting that. You're not getting that. In the next video, you will. You will. So stick around for that one. Learn the gear that I use, or get the gear that I use if you want. But know how to use it, though. That's very important. Don't do what I did and buy a bunch of gear and never even play with it and set it up. And then you're up a creek without a paddle, like we say here in the South. So thank you. And I will catch you in the next video.